Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Dilip Buildcon Limited Q3FY22 results conference call hosted by Axis Capital Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Jiten Rushi from Axis Capital. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Tanvi. Good evening. On behalf of Axis Capital, I would like to welcome everyone for the Q3 FY22 earnings conference call of Dilip Buildcon. From the management, we have with us today Mr. Devendra Jain, Executive Director and CEO, Mr. Rohan Suryavanshi, Head Strategy and Planning, and Mr. Rajesh Chamgar, CFO. And also we have the investor relation team from Accenture. We thank the management for giving us this opportunity. We shall begin with opening remarks from the management, followed by Q&A session. I would like to now hand over to the management for opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jiten ji. Good evening to all. Thank you for joining us today. We hope all of you are doing well and staying safe in these definitely extraordinary times, and we hope that your family is also doing well. First of all, I, along with the whole DBL family, would like to welcome all our investors and partners to this conference call for the quarter ending 31st December 2021. It is my great pleasure and honor to be able to host this call and update all our partners with the important updates for this quarter and our plans going forward. Well, to start with, the global pandemic has right now reached a certain stage where there are certain things which are still uncertain as how this disease might spread or what new variants we might come across. But with the number of vaccines being produced by prominent players around the world, at least there is a lot of optimism, as was unlike the situation that was there 2 years ago. In India also, many vaccines have been licensed and inoculations have been very, very successful. The government, on its part, did a phenomenal job of spreading the vaccine and program very, very well. We are hoping that this deep vaccination program will provide safety from future variants, and eventually business momentum will be restored and the larger economy can come back to its feet as was the pre-vaccination era. In recent updates, the big one was the Union Budget, which was announced by the Honorable Finance Minister. This was a very balanced and progressive budget without any negative surprises. There has been an uptick in the allocation of capital towards the infrastructure sector, which kind of reiterates the budget as a growth-oriented one. Outlay of capital expenditure of rupees 7.5 lakh crore is up of almost by 35% year on year. This expands the scope of private capex through PLI for new age segment, which is expected to deliver inclusive growth, job creation, and welfare for all. Overall, the budget laid forth for a long-term economic recovery, relying heavily on infrastructure and agriculture reforms and government spending. In an endeavor to ramp up the infrastructure space, the budget has allocated rupees 12.2 trillion, which is upwards of 10% compared to the rupees 11.1 trillion in the previous fiscal. Further to this, very specifically to our road sector, the Finance Minister announced the PM Gati Shakti Master Plan for expressways, which will be formulated in FY23 to facilitate faster movement of people and goods. The National Highway Network will be expanded by 25,000 kilometers in FY23. On the awarding front, NHAI awarding activity for the 9 months in this fiscal stood at 2583 kilometers. We believe that the space of awarding needs to pick up substantially over February-March 2022, as seen historically, to meet its target of 4,500 kilometers. Now let me move on to some recent company updates. DBL, along with its wholly owned subsidiary DBL Infra Assets Private Limited, executed a non-binding term sheet with Shrem Invit on 21/01/2022 for transferring their invested equity in a portfolio of 10 hybrid annuity model projects comprising of 3 completed and 7 near completion projects. Equity transfer to the Shrem Invit shall be completed in a progressive manner after the completion of the said projects and subject to the receipt of approvals from the respective project lenders and NHAI. The total equity valuation of the said 10 projects is expected to be rupees 23,490 million against the required equity investment of rupees 15010 million crores. Besides this, there shall be a reduction in the consolidated debt of the company by rupees 4218 million crores upon consummation of the transaction. The company, along with DIAPL, is in the process of execution of definitive agreements with Shrem Invit to consummate the transaction, and we're expecting that to be completed very, very soon. The above valuation obviously may undergo certain changes based on the outcome of final due diligence or other matters such as prevailing bank rate at that point of time when the projects are actually moved into the Invit, the outstanding actual debt at that point of time, and the inflation-adjusted balance completion cost, etc. On that transfer date. Obviously, we are very happy to announce this as the company has a valuation of almost 1.6 times against its invested equity, and this would be a good thing for all the shareholders, especially in these tough times where the company will be receiving almost 800 to 900 crores additional capital above the invested equity in those projects. I'm talking about both Shrem deal and the Cube deal in totality. So we will be earning that kind of additional profit on these assets, which will offset some of the losses that the company has come through to us in these times because of projects getting stretched over time and because of the extraordinary rise in material prices. Now talking about the Cube deal, we have received 2916 million crores out of the 4296 million crores from Cube against transfer of 49% equity stake plus unsecured loan in 3 HAM projects. The balance rupees 1380 million crores will be received after COD plus 6 months, which is expected in Q1 FY23 against the remaining 51% equity stake transfer. In this quarter, I'm also happy to tell you guys that we have completed 5 HAM projects and 3 EPC projects in this year on or before time. We've also won 2 large projects worth rupees 33,200 million crores. One is the Amadhanand mine OCP project in Madhya Pradesh, and the second is a tunnel project in Bilaspur, which is in Himachal Pradesh. That is a rupees 637 million crore rupees project. 6370 million crore rupees project. Now moving from business to financial performance. Revenue unfortunately decreased by 11% in Q3 FY22 on a year-on basis as opposed to Q3 of last year. This was largely on account of rainfall happening in south of India until end of November. A lot of our projects are based there, and unfortunately all those projects, even after the monsoon that we experienced in north and central India, because there was a long elongated rainfall session there, those projects could not take off, and the revenue that we were expecting did not get. Similarly, EBITDA also decreased by 98% in Q3 FY22. The decrease in EBITDA is because of the following reasons. Usually in the past, DBL executed a 24-month project in 20 months and less than that. This used to help us in saving our fixed overheads and also getting early completion bonuses. Besides the early completion bonuses, also the costs that we were saving, they were all helping us get higher margins. But because of COVID-19, all projects are now getting executed upwards of 27 to 30 months. This additional fixed cost incurred during the EOT period and the non-receipt of early completion bonus have impacted profitability, because all of our teams, our manpower, our equipment is mobilized at the site, and they are not able to do the revenue that they were built for. Similarly, the second big reason, we have increase in material prices like cement, bitumen, diesel, steel, aggregates. Out of the increased price of material, 50 to 60% is passed through escalation clause given in contract, and the remaining price increase is factored at the time of bidding. However, this exceptional increase in prices were obviously not captured and has affected our EBITDA margin. And because majority of the projects that are getting completed were won during the year 2018, March of 2018 was when we had won almost 20,000 crores worth of orders, and those projects have gotten elongated, so all those costs have sort of impacted us. The third reason, the coal projects that we do, where fuel costs approximately contribute 45 to 50%, has also been impacted by the sudden spike in diesel price, so that has also impacted us. These are the broad three reasons. All of this ultimately culminates into the profit after tax, which decreased by almost 187% on account of decrease in EBITDA. Now let me take you through some important items on the balance sheet. Expenditure on fixed assets is rupees 260 million crores in this quarter. Is rupees 260 million in this. Investment has decreased in quarter 3 FY22 as compared to quarter 2 FY22 due to sale of 49% equity stake in the 3 HAM projects to Cube Highways and the sale of stake in 4 HAM projects to D-Bill Infra Asset. Thirdly, inventory has marginally increased by rupees 37 million from last quarter to this quarter. Debtors have also increased to rupees 15041 million in quarter 3 from 13181 million in quarter 2. This is on account of delay in receipt of money, which has been now received in January 22. Decrease in loans is mainly given on account of repayment of loans given to SPVs created for HAM projects. Net debt to equity ratio remained the same at 0.73 in quarter 3 FY22, vis-a-vis 0.73 in the last quarter. However, in absolute terms, the debt has decreased by rupees 1096 million. Working capital days has increased from 102 days as of December 31 in this quarter, vis-a-vis 96 days as of September 30th, 2021. This is primarily on the reason that I mentioned above in terms of debtor. This would be all for me right now. We can now open the floor for question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to withdraw yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. First question is from the line of Shravan Shah from Dolat Capital Markets. Please go ahead. So the first question, actually I have many questions to be answered. The first, let's start with the basics. Last quarter, we were confident that now 14 to 15% EBITDA margin is the new normal. So that the call was in the middle of the quarter, and this quarter we are posting
lowest ever EBITDA margin, so kind of a flattish 0.3% EBITDA margin. So not able to understand that one. Second is on the execution front. Now, previously what we guided 9,500 to 10,000 crore for this year. So definitely there also, what's the new number? So just first thing, trying to understand where we are going wrong. So that's the first question.
श्रवण जी, जो लास्ट टाइम आपको बताया था उसमें रॉन्ग कुछ भी नहीं है. हमारे प्रोजेक्टों का अगर आप ज्योग्राफिकल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन देखेंगे तो जो प्रोजेक्ट का हमारा अपॉइंटेड डेट आने वाला था, सारे प्रोजेक्ट साउथ बेस्ड हैं. जैसे हम लोगों ने अगर बेंगलोर चेन्नई एक्सप्रेसवे में हमारे 3 प्रोजेक्ट होते हैं और पौंडीचेरी के 2 प्रोजेक्ट होते हैं, जिनमें से अभी 4 का अपॉइंटेड डेट आ चुका है. अगर आप डेटा उठाएंगे तो नवंबर एंड तक भी साउथ पोर्शन में काफी बारिश रेनफॉल होता रहा. इस कारण जो प्रोजेक्ट हमारे वहां पे यूजुअली सितंबर अक्टूबर में बारिश बंद हो जाती है, लेकिन वो एक्सटेंड होने के कारण जो हमारा एक्सपेक्टेशन था कि वो प्रोजेक्ट चालू हो जाएंगे तो वो थोड़ा लेट चालू हुए. दूसरा, हमारे 2 बड़े प्रोजेक्ट अगर आप देखेंगे, वन इज द डैम प्रोजेक्ट दैट इज 4,000 करोड़ इन द भरूच, एंड द वन मोर स्पेशल स्ट्रक्चर ब्रिज इज दैट साहिबगंज दैट इज 2,000 करोड़. साहिबगंज इज अगेन जो भी रिवर बेस्ड प्रोजेक्ट है, इनमें भी एक्सटेंडेड मानसून के कारण हमारा रेवेन्यू एक्सपेक्टेड उतना नहीं आ पाया जो हमने टारगेट किया था. दूसरा, जो आप इसकी बात कर रहे हैं एबिटा की, उसका नीचे जाने का कारण रोहन ने अपने ओपनिंग रिमार्क में भी बताया कि मेटेरियल प्राइजेज शार्पली शूट अप हुए. आप सब लोग मॉनिटर करते हैं स्टील, सीमेंट, बिटुमिन, जो लास्ट 15-20 ईयर में कभी भी 1 साल में 1.5 साल में इतना प्राइस इंक्रीमेंट नहीं हुआ जो हुआ. 50 से 60% प्राइस सारे मटेरियल की बढ़ी. स्टील जो अक्टूबर 20 में जो कहीं ना कहीं 38 रुपये केजी था, वो आज की तारीख में वी आर बाइंग ऑन 57 to 58 रुपये, और बहुत वेरिएशन है, कभी वो 62 हो जाता है. तो ये सारे रीजन रहे. जब भी हम लोग बिड करते हैं तो पास्ट हिस्ट्री के अकॉर्डिंग जो वेरिएशन होता है मटेरियल में पर ईयर का 15-20 साल का, वो रिकॉर्ड लेके हम लोग अपने बिड पैरामीटर में उसको इनबिल्ट करते हैं. लेकिन इतना सारा 2 रीजन हुए. वन इज द कि जो एक्सपेक्टेड हमें रेवेन्यू आना था, जितना एक्सपेक्टेड हमें प्रोग्रेस करनी थी, वो कर नहीं पाए. मटेरियल की प्राइजेज वर्टिकली शूट अप हुई जो सबको दिख रही है सामने. ये 2 रीजन के कारण जो हमने आपको टारगेट्स दिए थे वो वर्टिकली चेंज हुए.
सर, लेकिन हम लोग मिडल ऑफ द नवंबर में थे, सो देयर आल्सो वी वर नॉट अवेयर दैट दिस काइंड ऑफ अ फॉल कैन कम टू द EBITDA margin. Though we were saying that 14-15% is the new normal that we can now seeing from the third quarter. So that's where, so that time also we were aware that the input prices are higher, steel, cement, diesel were higher. So my question is not why the margin has came down. The thing is that we were still saying at the middle of the quarter that it will be at a 14-15% and actually it is coming to the 0%. So that's the only thing I am not able to understand.
Oh, Pawanji, actually we were not expecting that the project where we have received the appointed date, we will not be able to progress on that part. Okay, so that is the one reason. And we were, if you would have achieved the revenue of 2,500 crore and more, so this EBITDA would have decreased and we would have come, because our fixed overheads under recovery are there. Okay, because our manpower is there, then we are taking land on the lease. There are the certain fixed overheads which are under recovered. And the another thing is that the project which we have won in 2018, so explanation is not fully passed on. But it is again partly compensated by the increase in the equity valuation, which is visible in the deal where we have done the non-binding term sheet, signed the SRAM in which. There we are getting the valuation of 1.56 times. So that is the reason primarily.
Okay. Sir, other thing is that have we tried to sell equity stake, a significant equity stake at DBL standalone to other business house, or are we also looking at or open to sell a significant equity stake 20-25% to some other house?
Shravanji, if at all such an event were to happen, we will inform the market and whenever such a thing happens. I mean, these rumors have floated around in the market for some time, but there is nothing for me to comment on rumors. But like I said, if there was anything that will happen, we will inform the market at the appropriate time.
Okay, sir. Now just to give the new guidance on top line margin, order inflow, capex. So if you can help me with the new number for this year and next year also, if you can help me, and then maybe I can come to the HAM monetization part.
ऑर्डर बुक में श्रवण जी अभी लगभग एनएचआई के 50,000 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट पाइपलाइन में है, जो एक्सपेक्टेड है कि मार्च 31 के पहले प्रोजेक्ट का बिड होके वो खुल भी जाएंगे. वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि 5 से 7,000 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट हम लोग रोड में कहीं ना कहीं विन कर सकते हैं. इसके अलावा अदर बिजनेसेस है, इसमें 15-17,000 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट अभी पाइपलाइन में है, वो भी हम लोग बिड कर रहे हैं. ऑलरेडी इस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में जो हमारे डाइवर्सिफिकेशन का बेनिफिट हमें हुआ कि हमने 2 प्रोजेक्ट जो जीते, वन इज फ्रॉम द कोल ईपीसी एंड वन इज फ्रॉम टनल. 3,300 करोड़ के जो हमने प्रोजेक्ट जीते पूरे 10 मंथ में. इतनी इंटेंसिव कॉम्पिटिटिव बिडिंग हुई एनएचआई में, सबने देखा होगा 20 से 22 बिडर है, जहां हेम में पहले 6-7 बिडर होते थे. तो 2 प्रोजेक्ट हमने जीते एंड वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि 5 से 7,000 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट अभी हम लोग और जीत सकते हैं इस फाइनेंशियल ईयर के एंड में. एंड रेवेन्यू गाइडेंस में जहां तक हमारा, अभी आप अगले साल के गाइडेंस के लिए थोड़ा सा रुक जाइए. अभी का गाइडेंस हमारा ये कि हमारा इस साल का टोटल रेवेन्यू विल बी इक्वल टू द लास्ट ईयर्स टोटल रेवेन्यू.
Okay, and margin, sir, fourth quarter में how we can see the EBITDA margin?
श्रवण जी, मार्जिन पे थोड़ा सा अभी डिफिकल्ट है गाइडेंस देना, बट इट विल बी पॉजिटिव. सो बिकॉज वी डोंट नो दैट हाउ दिस विल पेन आउट द प्रोग्रेस और अपॉइंटेड डेट जिसका 2 का बाकी है. तो जस्ट वेट फॉर द मार्जिन ना.
Okay, and lastly, sir, monetization का जो बोला है तो some detail more things. So we created a infra holding company. So this RAM deal, so how much will be given to that, and how much will come to the standalone entity, and maybe broadly in terms of the timeline, how much timeline are we looking at when this will come, and ultimately how the our gross debt will reduce by this year, next year, whatever you can help me with that.
Yeah, sure, Sarvanji. So if you see, like as we have intimated also, the required equity investment in these 10 assets is around 1,500 odd crores, out of which like approximately 600 crores is the investment from our holding company, that is DBL Infra Holdings, and remaining investment would be from DBL. So some part of the investment is yet to take place, as we informed that the projects, some of the 7 projects are still under construction. So some equity to the tune of around 170 odd crores is still required to be infused in these assets for the completion of the projects. So as and when the projects are getting completed, so there are 2 ways in which the equity investment takes place. One is the unsecured loan and second is the pure equity component. So in these assets, there is an unsecured loan component of around 600 odd crores. So that unsecured loan component will be realized in form of cash from each of the SPVs pursuant to their transfer to the InvIT. And against the remaining equity investment, which is both combined together by DBL and DIAPL, which will be around 900 crores, we'll be receiving the units of the InvIT. So that way, units of the InvIT will be to the tune of around 1,750 to close to around 1,750 odd crores. So these units will be held by DBL as well as DIAPL in proportion to their equity holding in the respective SPVs, as and when the transfer takes place.
Okay. So the cash, any timeline, the next year the cash will come 600 crore by end of FY23?
Yes, definitely it will be realized by end of FY23. And as Devendra also explained, so that is where you can see against the monetization of 1,500 crores worth of equity, company has a price discovery of 2,350 crores. So that is the valuation which has been established. So that valuation will be received. And further, this valuation, like this is an approximate valuation because there are certain variable parameters like the bank rate on the transfer date, actual debt which is drawn, and the balance completion cost, which forms the basis for the calculation of annuity in future. So these would be the variable parameters as and when the transfer happens. On that, whatever is the crystallized number, basis that the final valuation would be ascertained. So it is going to be in around this particular range.
So date previously where we are looking at 500 crore reduction by this year. So what's the now new status?
So Shravanji, the date will be from these numbers, there will be decrease of around 200 to 300 crore by March.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Shravanji.
Thank you. A reminder to participants, if you have any questions, please enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, sir, and thanks for the opportunity. My first question is, there's a huge EBITDA margin miss. Is it because these are mostly HAM assets with fixed cost contract with the SPV? And the related question is that coal contracts, I understand that they have a better escalation clause, right? Why they were miss in the in the coal contract also? That's the first question.
Mohitji, we have not told that this is the fixed price contract. The contract with the HAM, so SPV is also not the fixed price contract, and coal also not fixed price contract. What we are saying, this kind of increase doesn't get compensated through the explanation clause, which is you will have to understand. It's okay. And in the HAM project, only 40% of explanation is given by the NHI during the construction period. Remaining 60% is paid along with the annuity for the next 15 years. So whatever increase is there in the explanation is converted into the equity increase, and the remaining comes with the construction.
Just to clarify over here, Mohitji, like the 60% component on which the inflation is received. So we estimate that inflation while in our bid price while we put our bid. But what has happened because of the escalation in the material prices, because the prices have moved haywire, more than 40-50% in most of the commodities, and commodities like bitumen has increased by more than 100%. So what has happened is that whatever was the original estimate of inflation for against the 60%, which we are not receiving during the construction period from NHAI, so that has really vitiated the entire costing of the raw materials for each of the projects. And this additional money is getting realized through the equity divestment, because that has helped in increment of the balance completion cost for each of the HAM assets. So that is where you see that the valuation of the HAM projects, there is a reflection while we are undertaking the monetization of the assets.
The question is that whatever remaining order book we have to 30 billion to 20,000 crore, is there the risk that this thing of low EBITDA margin will continue for some more time before we go back to our old margin?
So Mohitji, this was due to because the project which we have won 2018 and we were executing that. So there were the higher percentage of the old project than new project now, but this percentage has changed. Now the old project which we have won in 2018 are around the progress of the 75 to 90%, and the new project which we have won and we have started working on that has been bid on the new price. And after this new price bidding, there is no sudden increase in the material prices. So this figure actually gone down.
So 2018 वाले contract का portion कितना बचा होगा सर अभी?
प्रेजेंटेशन में दिया है
आपको ना वो हमारे प्रेजेंटेशन में जाएंगे तो जो रिमेनिंग प्रोजेक्ट नहीं दिया
18 में से सर 3 प्रोजेक्ट ऑलरेडी कंप्लीट हो चुके हैं और बाकी भी नेक्स्ट 6 प्रोजेक्ट
out of 12 projects 6 completed and 6 is in the range of 75 to 90%.
वो भी 6 महीने में कंप्लीट हो जाएगी.
Understood, sir. So secondly, sir, on the InvIT, ये क्या InvIT की लिस्टिंग पे कुछ कंटिंजेंट है क्या ये हमारा रियलाइजेशन, और ये InvIT की लिस्टिंग पब्लिक या प्राइवेट कब तक होगी?
Sir, InvIT is already listed InvIT, so it is it is a private listed InvIT. तो हमें क्या है कि once we transfer the asset, so as per the agreed valuation, will be allotted the units of the InvIT.
Understood, sir. And yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, if you have any questions, please enter star and 1. The next question is from the line of Rohit Natarajan from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Sir, if you could help us understand what this early completion bonus as a percentage of total project cost used to be, how it came down over the period of years, and what is the situation now. Now I understand there is no early completion bonus, but can you just help us understand what that number used to contribute?
Sure, sir. Sir, historically speaking, जब हमारे early completion bonus चलते थे, it accounted to 1.5 to 2% of the हमारा top line किसमें से आ जाता था. So that's how much it would come every year. And bottom line तो उतना add करता था. Along with this, when you get early completion bonus जो आपको direct benefit government देती थी, जो contract का part होता था. Along with that, what used to happen was, like we've explained in the past, अगर हम 24 महीने का project if we're doing in 20 months or 18 months or whatever 21 months, your fixed costs, your salaries, your equipment, all those costs also you used to get a benefit out of them because you would have completed it before what you had anticipated in the bid for. So you would save, तो वो भी around another 1.5% के आसपास का हमें benefit मिल जाता था. So both these things put together ऐसा हमें benefit देते थे, करीबन 3 से 4% के बीच का. Now एक तरफ what has happened कि early completion bonus has gone out of the window. Then on top of it, our expenses have piled up. हमारा model was always keeping everything on our own books, our own people, our own equipment. Now we have not removed people and our equipment, so fixed costs are month on month bear कर ही रहे हो. So all those costs have now added up from that. Instead of the 20 months, now finishing them in 27 to 30 months. So the 6, 7 to 10 months का additional cost has come onto your project. And that's what is basically now hitting these things because of 2 waves of corona and the exceptional monsoons that have happened. Also, it is important to note, sir, both the waves of corona came at the peak time of working. Construction company का जो काम करने का जो time रहता है, आपका हमारा Q3 में नवंबर के आसपास जब रेनफॉल जब खत्म हो जाती थी, आजकल तो क्योंकि लंबी खींचने लगी पिछले 2, 3, 4 साल से, हमारा नवंबर में जब रेनफॉल या अक्टूबर पे जब एक बार रेनफॉल खत्म होकर जब क्लियर वर्किंग का मिलता था, वहां से लेके नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल, मई, जून, मिड तक जब तक बारिश नहीं आती थी तब तक आपको क्लीन, दीज वर द बिगेस्ट मंथ्स ऑफ वर्किंग. हमारा कोविड-1 भी पीक सीजन में आया, जब हम मार्च में थे उसमें आया तो हमारे वर्किंग का पीक सीजन खराब हो गया. उसके बाद मॉनसून आ गया इमीडिएटली, तो वैसे भी आपका रेवेन्यू तो जो होने से, तो आप जो पीक सीजन में जो काम करते थे अच्छे से देखते थे, आपके कैश फ्लोज भी और इम्प्रूव थे, तो उस पर दोनों बार सेम चीज सेकंड टाइम भी हुई कि लास्ट ईयर भी जब कोविड का सेकंड वेव आया तो वही मार्च अप्रैल में आया अगेन, वेयर अप्रैल में जब वो वेव हिट हुआ तो हमारी सारी चीजें जो हम पीक पे काम कर रहे थे वापस हो गया. हमारा इंटरनली अगर आप देखेंगे उससे पहले तो हमारा 2800 से 3000 करोड़ तक का रेवेन्यू करने का इक्विपमेंट और मैन पावर खड़ा है कि हम कर सकते हैं. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली बिकॉज ऑफ ऑल दीज रीजंस हमारा रेवेन्यू ही हिट होता रहा है बार बार. So we are not able to extract the maximum that we would used to do in the past because of these factors which are extraneous to us.
Sure. Sir, my second question is more to do with this CRML open cast project. वहाँ पे सर क्या प्रोग्रेस है? जैसे कुछ मैं देख रहा हूँ ऑर्डर बैकलॉग तो वहीं से वहीं है. Our date of start was supposed to be in June 21. What exactly is the ground progress over there?
यारवल प्रोजेक्ट का जो टारगेट है वो उसमें 1.5 ईयर उसका जब से हमें एलओआई मिला था उसके बाद कंडीशन प्रेसिडेंस के लिए दिया गया है. तो उसमें पहले भी हम लोगों ने आपको बताया था कि नेक्स्ट ईयर सितंबर तक उसका फॉरेस्ट क्लियरेंस से वो सारी चीजें हो जाएंगी. तब तक हमारा फाइनेंशियल क्लोजर भी प्रोग्रेस में है. तो नेक्स्ट ईयर सितंबर के बाद से वो प्रोजेक्ट कहीं ना कहीं आपको चालू दिखेगा.
और सर दूसरे जो वो SECL OCP प्रोजेक्ट है हमारे उनका विच इज 2200 crore काइंड ऑफ नंबर, उसमें भी कैसा है सिचुएशन सर?
दैट्स ए EPC प्रोजेक्ट और वो अनदर 1 मंथ में वो ग्राउंड पे प्रोजेक्ट चालू हो जाएगा. उसकी पूरी तैयारियां हो चुकी है ऑलरेडी. हमारा बैंक गारंटी सबमिशन हो गया, हमारा एग्रीमेंट वगैरह साइन हो गया और हमारा इक्विपमेंट मोबिलाइजेशन एंड केम का काम वहाँ चल रहा है. नेक्स्ट मंथ से वो प्रोजेक्ट ग्राउंड पे स्टार्ट हो जाएगा.
एंड सर फाइनल क्वेश्चन इज ऑन इनविट. सर ये जो आपको जो कंसिडरेशन मिला है इस इनविट में, इज देयर अ टाइमलाइन दैट यू हैव टू विथहोल्ड इट और डू यू प्लान टू ऑफलोड इट, सेल इट फर्दर, इनकैश इट? कैसा है इसका ये फ्यूचर मोनेटाइजेशन प्लान?
Just to answer it one by one, further is that there is no timeline or there is no restriction upon us with respect to the monetization of units of the InvIT. So upon the allotment of the units, the company can monetize. The reason why there's we cannot really say ki when do we plan to exactly monetize, because the reason of company opting for this InvIT route is that because today, as we know that we are at the historically low bank rate. Today the bank rate is at 4.25%, and despite that we are having such a good valuation. And today, with the as you can see with the market trends, so there is a likelihood that the interest rates are going to get hardened. And once the interest rate hardening starts happening, HAM is the only product in the market which is counter interest cyclical. Like if the interest rate moves up, then your valuation of the asset also has a favorable impact. So with that, it is always beneficial for the company that we should try to hold the units in the long run, because that is going to there is a likelihood that the overall earning of the company against these units is going to have a favorable impact. Secondly, there is also a tax advantage. Like if you encash the units or if you sell the units, then immediately there is a capital gain tax implication upon you. So which otherwise, if you are retaining the units, any which way you are entitled to the quarterly distributions against the units. So that is going to be a cash inflow to the company on a quarter-on-quarter basis against the distributions which will be made by that InvIT trust. And that is like mostly it is going to be having a tax benefit, because if the SPVs are continuing in the old regime pursuant to transfer old tax regime, then there is no tax implication on the dividend distributions from the SPVs. So with this, there is a tax advantage also going to come upon the company. So the endeavor is that to hold the units, but nonetheless, if there is any requirement of cash flow, then again funding can be raised against these units. So that way, that flexibility is also available with the company.
Sure, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next question is from the line of Jitendra Rishi from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thank you for taking my question. So on the divestment side, so in the last quarter presentation, we were talking about 12 HAM projects getting divested, which is 5 to the Cube, and the next 7 we will be transferring to DBL Infra, and then gradually through InvIT route we shall be doing it, and we were expecting a value of 2,500 crore. And now in the current presentation, we're talking about the 13 HAM projects, in which we have mentioned the 10 HAM projects from the transfer to the SHREM InvIT with the older ones, and the 3 which we have done it with Cube. So, but the older HAM projects with the SHREM was more of a cash deal, not the InvIT unit deal. So, what has changed with this, or my understanding is incorrect? Like, just want to understand from your side.
So Jitenji, initially, as you mentioned, that we had mentioned that we'll be opting through the InvIT route. So that hasn't changed. So exactly we have done the same thing. So with Cube also, like this was a pure cash monetization against like 3 assets. We have divested the equity of 3 assets of around 300 odd crores, against which the agreed valuation is 430 crores, and against which 49% equity transfer has already taken place to Cube, and the unsecured loan invested by the company has already been realized. Approximately 290 odd crores has already been realized from the Cube, and balance will be realized upon completion of 6 months of each of the projects. So now we are left with the remaining 7 assets. So one asset is out of the lot which we had won in FY2021. So that is why the total is coming to 13 instead of 12. Okay. So against these 10 assets, so as we had maintained in past also, that the divestment will be through the InvIT route, that is the preferred route, and so we have done exactly the same thing. So I think that answers your question.
No, my question was more on the SHREM side. So we are getting the units now from SHREM because they have come out with the InvIT. So earlier.
Sorry to interrupt, but had the company like floated its own InvIT platform also, then also the company would have received the units only against the InvIT.
But if
SHREM that it is going to give cash or InvIT, it is the platform that we are talking about.
Yeah, I got your point. But if was that the part of the original deal where SHREM had vision that they might go for an InvIT and you will be getting units as against the cash? That is what my question was.
No, sir, that was never the deal. If you're talking about the old deal that we did with SHREM way back in 2017.
1,600 crores.
We had not even won these projects. So to make a deal which was not even there would be very.
Sir, at that time we had transferred 23 asset deal, right, sir? 23 asset, the original deal with the SHREM group, right, sir? Which had 11 HAM, 24 assets, which had 11 HAM projects and.
No, sir, which had five HAM projects. 5 HAM projects in that.
Okay. So my understanding is, sir, this 10 HAM projects it includes those 5 HAM projects also?
No, sir.
No.
जितेन सर वो वाली डील खत्म हो चुकी है, हम अभी
ओके खत्म हो गया ना. हाँ बस मतलब मैं कंफ्यूज हो रहा था एक्चुअली. ठीक है. सो सर द कंक्लूजन नाउ इज दैट 13 HAM प्रोजेक्ट्स में से 5 आर सेलिंग इट टू क्यूब एंड 7 वी आर ट्रांसफरिंग टू श्रेम, और वी आर ट्रांसफरिंग ओनली 3 टू क्यूब एंड रिमेनिंग टू श्रेम. दैट इज द अंडरस्टैंडिंग करेक्ट सर?
Sir, we are transferring 3 assets to Cube and 10 assets to...
So earlier you used to transfer 5 assets to Cube.
Earlier, sir, just let me please allow me to complete. So,
sorry.
Earlier, plan was to sell 5 assets to Cube, against which we now only selling them 3 assets because we are getting a better valuation at this.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the thing. So when we looked at it. अगर हमको to also answer your question, अगर if there was ever a deal with Shrem पहले का तो we would have not gone with any other partner at all. Why would we have sold any new assets to Cube and done that? So this was much later because when we were setting up, we also had offers from other investors who were interested in our assets, but all of them wanted to buy out the assets completely. And we wanted to set up the platform because of the long-term strategy for D-Build, what you mentioned, because we are constantly making these assets and we constantly need to monetize these. Because we need to monetize them, having a bilateral sale arrangement every time and giving the market that, having that hanging, when will that happen, not happen, we wanted to reduce that uncertainty, which is why we spoke about setting up our own InvIT platform because we had a site. Now, the reason why we joined another InvIT platform, just allow me to complete.
Yeah, please continue, sir. Please. Sorry, please continue, sir. Sorry, sir. Please continue, yeah.
The reason why we have joined another platform is because we wanted the size of the platform to be large, where if we are putting up an InvIT platform where we want to monetize our assets for a different investor also, when we will be selling in future and monetizing our assets when we feel the time is right, it will be a much better value proposition for an investor with a wide range of assets in that portfolio. And that was the reason why we decided to join the said InvIT.
This Cube को चलेगा, मतलब Cube is fine. Team, मतलब the original deal 5 का था that they are okay with the 3 asset deal, right, sir?
Yes.
So just one thing, ये Cube का सर ये 3 asset का equity investment आपने कितना किया सर? Just wanted to ask that. Sorry, I am asking again, sir. करना है या कितना? सर total 300 crores.
Total, और हमें इस पे कुछ भी equity invest नहीं करना है.
करना नहीं है. ठीक. अच्छा, and sir balance, okay, got it. So 430 में से 290 crore you have received, correct, sir?
Yes.
And the 600 crore you will receive from Shrem next year, and balance the units you will be holding it. So then the DBL infra platform which we had built, where we had raised, we were supposed to raise 9.95 billion from CPPIB. उसमें से we had raised up to Q2 some 5.8 billion, and Q3 में we must have raised something. Just now how this deal is spanning like 5 year के लिए 13% IRR का जो commitment था अपना. So अभी how, and we are supposed to pay 25%, we can pay 25% in next 1 year and then another 25%. So what is the money so far received from CPPIB, and now what is the status of this deal, sir? Thank you.
The status of the deal is the way it was originally structured. So like till Q2 we had drawn 580 crores, another 120 crores has been drawn down in Q3. So if you see, the aggregate drawdown is around 700 crores from CPPIB against the sanction facility of 995 crores. So we have the ability to draw the balance 295 crores from CPPIB going forward, based on the equity that we invest in the upcoming or the new HAM projects. Yeah, and as you have mentioned, like the repayment, there is an interest moratorium for 2 years. From the year 3 onwards, we need to start paying the interest. And after expiry of 3 years, so that is from year 4 onwards, we need to start the repayment of the capital. But nonetheless, at an appropriate time after completion of 12 months, we have the ability to prepay 25% and another 25% after completion of 15 months. So that is how the deal is. So based on this plan and our InvIT route and future monetization, we will decide for the quantum of prepayment. So that is purely discretionary on the part of the company. Otherwise, the repayment is starting from the year 4.
Okay. So basically, 12 months, after 12 months, you can pay 24%, 25%, and next 3 months after that, so that is 15 months, you can pay 25%, and the actual principal repayment will be starting from the end of the fourth year, right, sir?
From the beginning of the fourth.
So end of the third year, basically. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, sir, now, and for any new asset, will be bidded, where the bid will go through DBL or DBL parent company, or to the DBL Infra, which is the holdco for the SPVs?
Yeah, as of now, like the bidding is from DBL because only, but going forward, we may look for bidding from our holding companies as well, because once the credentials are built up, because for building up the credentials also, there is a minimum cooling period or minimum threshold period for which you need to hold the equity of the SPVs.
Okay. So like 6 months or 1 year, that way.
Yeah. Whatever is as per the guidelines.
Right. Okay. Sir, now with new win from NHAI, the bonus clause will again reinstated, because this we were not getting the bonus because we got the EOT for the older projects, hence we were not able to receive the bonus. But with new wins, there won't be any EOT, so the bonus clause will be reinstated. So directionally, can we see, not in FY23 but probably FY24 or 25, we are able to win additional 1.5 to 2% additional margin, or because of the competition, our EBITDA, recurring EBITDA would be coming down from like 15% to 12 to 13%, and plus you add bonus 1.5 to 2% will be 14 to 15%.
Recently, the bonus clause was always there, and it is there in the new projects also. The only thing is now the NHAI is shorten the period, and the projects are the complex. So it is they have made almost impossible to complete the projects before time, and won the early completion bonus of like 4 to 6 months. So this is right now what we are looking at, that it is not possible to earn the early completion bonus in the range of 1.5 to 2%.
Okay. So bonus is there, but because of the complexity and shorter execution cycle, we shall be not able to win the bonus going forward. That is the conclusion. Right.
Yes, sir, it is really difficult, and it will be too early to comment on that.
Right. So last question, sorry, I'm asking. So the power T&D segment, so any update on that segment? How are we shaping? Because we are able to win projects from irrigation, water, and mining, but not new projects we have seen from metro or power T&D. So any update on that, sir?
So, sir, on the power transmission, there is nothing to update right now. We haven't got anything where we had looked at it. There's nothing that has come out. In terms of metro and other sections, we are continuing to build those segments.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir, that's it from my side. Thank you and all the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mohit Kumar from DAM Capital. Please go ahead.
Sir, thanks for the opportunity once again. Sir, how is this InvIT going to fund rupees 6 billion? Does it have enough cash? And the related question is, will it be the platform through which all the future deals will happen?
Sorry, can you repeat the second part of your question? I couldn't hear it.
Second part ये सर कि इसी प्लेटफॉर्म से सारे नए HAM के monetization होंगे क्या? Is there any ROFR given to the InvIT?
Yeah, so I'll just answer it two ways. So one is that you asked about the source of funds of 600 crores with InvIT. So that is going to be organized by the SHREM group, because SHREM Infrastructure is the sponsor of the SHREM InvIT. So they are going to put in the requisite cash towards like retirement of our unsecured loan in these SPVs. So that is how that monetization is going to happen. And secondly, regarding the RFR for the future HAM projects, yes, as a part of the deal, we have agreed for a ROFR that the future HAM projects which the company is going to bid, so they would have the right of first refusal. Yeah, and that was setting this unit.
Secondly, sir, how the other segment order inflow is looking out, especially for Q4, I think you mentioned some large number, but can you just please elaborate on that? We get a segment which we're targeting in the Q4.
Sir, we had said that with the road sector, we have about 60 or 70,000 crores worth of orders right now lined up in the road sector. And the other sectors that we're looking at is about 16,000 crores of orders in the other sectors that we're looking at. So that's the breakup of the orders that are right now, the order pipeline that is available right now.
So, अगर से mostly irrigation water है या mining भी है?
For all sorts of sector in there.
ठीक है sir. Thank you sir. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anupam Agarwal from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Hello, yes, sir. This is Anupam Gupta here. So, a few questions. Firstly, on the...
Sir, आपकी आवाज clear नहीं है, sir.
Yes, sir. So your voice is breaking up, Mr. Agarwal.
Is this better?
Yes.
Is this better? Hello?
Yes, please proceed.
Indicated in the presentation, which totals up to close about 1,050 crores over Q4 and the next 2 years in the road segment specifically. If you can break that in...
Sir, your voice is not coming. Sir, वो break हो रही है बार-बार. Anupam ji, your voice is...
Is this better?
No, sir, it is fluctuating in between. Between it is coming fine.
Dial in again. आप dial in again कर लीजिएगा सर और आप अलग से नहीं तो कॉल कर लीजिएगा अगर आपको अभी नहीं लग क्या हो रहा है तो आप dial in वापस कर लीजिए.
I'll dial back. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Parikshit Kandpal from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi sir. क्वेश्चन देवेंद्र जी के था सर. अभी हम लोग रेसिडुअल ऑर्डर बुक में अपने assumptions में EBITDA मार्जिन कितना पकड़े, मतलब 13 से 14% की. So what will be the right, according to you, what will be the balanced margins in the order book now?
ऑर्डर बुक का मार्जिन तो परीक्षित जी यही रहने वाला है. 13 से 14% मार्जिन लेके ही चलेंगे. एक बार जैसा आपने बताया ना, फिक्स कॉस्ट की प्रॉब्लम हमारी थी क्योंकि हमारा एग्जीक्यूशन पिकअप नहीं हो पा रहा था. अब नाउ एग्जीक्यूशन अपना फुल फ्लेजेड हो गया है. बाकी जो पहले भी देवेंद्र ने और रोहन ने बताया कि जो ओल्ड प्रोजेक्ट थे 2018 के जो प्रोजेक्ट का प्रपोजल,
वो समझ गया सर. वो आपको जस्टिफाई करनी है और मैं समझ गया तो मैं सुन लिया. बट मैं जस्ट पूछ रहा था कि फ्रॉम मोर फ्रॉम द गाइडेंस पर्सपेक्टिव 13 से 14% मार्जिन हम कर सकते हैं इस मॉडल में. ओके, अंडरस्टूड. ऐसे मतलब फ्लक्चुएशंस तो क्वार्टर ऑन क्वार्टर होते हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द कोविड एंड कमोडिटीज. आई मीन यू हैव टेकन द हिट, बट द इशू हियर इज सर की प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है, बाकी लोग हिट की रिजल्ट में हिट दिखा नहीं है मेरे हिसाब से. मतलब मेरे को जो समझ में आ रहा है, हो सकता है NHI में इतना हिट ना हो, बट आपके स्टेट के भी ऑर्डर्स हैं काफी, तो मेरी हिट वहां पे ज्यादा है. और आपकी थोड़ी साइड भी एक्सेलरेटेड होती थी मोबिलाइजेशन के हिसाब से. यूज्ड टू प्रोड्यूस एग्रीगेट्स मच अहेड ऑफ लाइक दिस थिंग. सो is it right understanding ki maybe because of lower share of financial order we have more of a severe impact on the margins?
नहीं, हमारा लोअर, अगर आप रोड सेगमेंट देखेंगे तो स्टिल रोड सेगमेंट में हमारा NHI का ही ऑर्डर बुक सबसे बड़ा है. स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के जो ऑर्डर थे, अगर उसमें आप 3 ऑर्डर लेंगे, समृद्धि एक्सप्रेस है, बुंदेलखंड एंड गोरखपुर, जो ऑलरेडी 85% की प्रोग्रेस के ऊपर है. तो अभी रोड सेगमेंट में हमारे पास मैक्सिमम जो प्रोजेक्ट है वो हैंड प्रोजेक्ट नहीं होने वाला, सब NHI, तो वो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. बाकी जो अदर सेक्टर है वो NHI करती नहीं है. कोल है हमारे पास, डैम्स हैं, टनल है, मेट्रो है, दीज आर ऑल अदर सेक्टर्स फ्रॉम NHI.
उसका मिक्स मैं समझना चाह रहा था. बिकॉज अभी हैंड के तो आप बोल रहे काम काफी स्टार्ट नहीं हो पाए थे, तो और जो मार्जिन का हिट आया है, तो ये मार्जिन का हिट जो आ रहा है लार्जली NHI से भी आ रहा है, NHI के प्रोजेक्ट से भी आ रहा है कि ये लार्जली स्टेट प्रोजेक्ट से आ रहा है? बिकॉज बाकी और डेवलपर्स जो हैं आपकी कंपनी कॉम्पिटिटर्स, उन लोगों को मार्जिन का इतना इम्पैक्ट नहीं हुआ है इस क्वार्टर. मतलब थोड़ा बहुत इम्पैक्ट है, बट नॉट लाइक ग्रॉस मार्जिन मतलब ऑलमोस्ट उड़ गया, ऐसा नहीं हुआ है. मतलब
परीक्षित जी, वहां पे अगर आप पीयर सेट से कंपैरिजन करेंगे तो 2 कंपैरिजन करिए आप. एक तो हमारे पास अदर सेगमेंट डाइवर्सिफिकेशन सेक्टर अलग है. जैसे डैम में हम काम कर रहे हैं, मैंने पहले भी एक्सप्लेन किया था, तो डैम हमारा डाइवर्सिफाइड है, लेकिन बारिश के कारण वो ज्यादा इम्पेक्टेड है. तो यहाँ पे मार्जिन की प्रॉब्लम नॉट ड्यू टू द NHI और अदर प्रोजेक्ट है, ड्यू टू द ज्योग्राफी प्रॉब्लम है और पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर की प्रॉब्लम है. अगर मैं डैम बनाऊंगा तो डैम पानी के अंदर बनने वाला है. अगर एक्सटेंडेड मानसून होगा तो मेरा डैम सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट होगा. अगर मेरा 2000 करोड़ का साहिबगंज में मैं ब्रिज बना रहा हूँ जो गंगा नदी पे है, जहाँ पे दिसंबर 15 तक रेनफॉल होता है, तो वो सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट होगा. तो यहाँ पे द प्रॉब्लम इज नॉट विद द पीयर सेट। अगर हमें कंपेयर करेंगे तो टोटल रेवेन्यू का अगर आपको ब्रेकअप निकालना पड़ेगा कि हमारा टोटल रेवेन्यू किस किस सेगमेंट से आता है बाकी लोगों का। दूसरा आपको पता है कि हमारी जो स्ट्रेंथ थी, इसको कहते हैं थी इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि स्ट्रेंथ अभी वीकनेस दिख रही है आप लोग को। हमारी स्ट्रेंथ ये थी कि हम फिक्स कॉस्ट लेके चलते हैं, हमारा खुद का मैन पावर है, हमारी खुद की इक्विपमेंट है, उसीलिए हम लोगों ने 95% ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट में अहेड शेड्यूल कंप्लीट किया और हमने बोनस को एंजॉय किया एक समय तक। ड्यू टू द कोरोना 2 ईयर लगातार कोरोना आया ड्राई पीरियड में, कंजिक्यूटिव 2 सीजन बारिश के, मतलब लास्ट 24 महीने का हिसाब किताब करें तो 12 महीने में हम लोगों ने 40% कम स्ट्रेंथ में काम किया। दैट इज द बिगेस्ट कॉस्ट। जो हमारे कॉम्पिटिटर्स के साथ आप कंपेयर करेंगे तो हम वो फिक्स कॉस्ट लेके चलते हैं, इसके कारण हमारे मार्जिन ज्यादा इम्पेक्ट हुए। अगर हमारा यही रेवेन्यू 2200 करोड़ की जगह 2800 से 3000 करोड़ रेवेन्यू होता तो फिर सीन कुछ और होता, जिसके लिए हमारी ऑर्डर भी सपोर्ट करती है।
ये स्ट्रक्चरल इशू नहीं है, बेसिकली आप बोल रहे हैं ये ट्रांजिटरी इशू है जो अभी मेनली पास ऑन हो गया है। मे बी FY23 से अपना वापस गाड़ी ट्रैक पे आ जानी चाहिए, मतलब वापस ये सब जो भी इश्यूज हुए हैं बिकॉज
ट्रैक पे आपको Q4 में और Q1 में भी गाड़ी ट्रैक पे आती दिखेगी, क्योंकि अभी सारे अपॉइंटेड डेट आने लगे हैं। अभी अगला कोई सीजन थी कि कोविड का जो 3rd वेव का इम्पैक्ट होते होते बाल बच गया, तो मुझे कोई बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट नहीं था, तो आई एम अज्यूमिंग कि अब अनदर 3-4 मंथ एंड Q1 में भी काम अच्छा ही चलने वाला है।
ओके, ठीक है। तो दूसरा क्वेश्चन था मेरा, एनीवन कैन आंसर, सो ऑन इन्वेट। सो अभी सर इन्वेट में, सो व्हाट इज द टोटल विद प्री-डील, व्हाट इज द टोटल कैश फ्लोज और डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फ्रॉम दिस इन्वेट, एंड आफ्टर योर दीज 10 एसेट्स गेट एडेड, तो हम लोग को हर साल रफली कितना डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन मिलेगा, assuming that this ultimately becomes a vehicle for us to monetize and it keeps growing, this vehicle keeps growing from the dividends which we may get from the InvIT. So annually कितना 10 assets और balance जो assets already हैं, तो इसमें कितना हमको साल का dividend मिल सकता है, so that just to understand how much of that can fund your equity requirements.
हाँ Parikshit, so Parikshit is like that's a good question. So approximately like between 10 to 11% of the valuation, so that is going to come in form of distribution. So this will be split, like the frequency is quarterly basis. So every quarter we will be receiving this dividend, and this will accumulate to 10% of the total investment value. So roughly, let us say we are receiving units worth 1750 odd crores from the InvIT. So you can safely assume that between 175 to 180 crores of cash flow will be accruing against the units which we will be getting allotted from the InvIT. And going forward, like as in with the addition of future assets, so more units are going to come to the company. So that way the cash flows are going to increase in a progressive manner.
So अभी सर इस यूनिट की एंटरप्राइज वैल्यू कितनी हो गई होगी आफ्टर योर एसेट्स? पहले आई थिंक पहले कितनी 4000 करोड़ थी क्या? पहले
4000 करोड़ थी, तो लगभग वही आप 2500 करोड़ और ऐड कर लीजिए, 6500 करोड़ करीब हो जाएगी.
So okay, as this InvIT grows bigger, so maybe you can get at an appropriate time. So you want to capture the benefit of rising interest rate now. If interest rate increases, your distribution increase, your valuation increase, and you can keep growing this in platform. And eventually, when it becomes quite sizable, you may get some more investors to come in and participate, right? So broadly, that would be the more longer term strategy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. ठीक है. जस्ट लास्टली सर, आई मीन जब हमने 13 से 14% मार्जिन की बात करी, तो हम लोग कैन वी लुक एट अपॉर्चुनिटीज? देवेंद्र सर, लाइक सम ऑफ योर पीयर्स हैव गॉट वेरी लार्ज ऑर्डर्स and they don't have their own captive execution capability. So now we are not enjoying benefit of bonus. We have a strong gross block. So can we look at those select opportunities and keep growing our revenues? Because कुछ लोग वैसे orders ले रहे हैं and they are saying हम लोग 13 से 14% margin बना सकते हैं उन orders में भी.
So Parikshit जी, आप मतलब इसमें क्या जाने के? Are we looking at doing?
Yeah. So yeah, are you looking to selectively look at those opportunities at your liking margins which you like? तो आप लोग ऐसा प्रोजेक्ट ले सकते हैं क्या? मतलब मैं वो पूछ रहा हूँ कि we still not do any subcontracting work.
No, if we get a good opportunity where we are comfortable with the payment that we need to come with the partner that might be there, so we might take those opportunities. There is nothing that we have against that.
But you are evaluating it. We are open to evaluating those opportunities.
We are open to evaluating all those things. We are open to evaluating.
और कुछ हो सकता है, मतलब हो भी सकता है उसमें कुछ?
सर अभी क्या है, गवर्नमेंट की बड़ी पाइपलाइन आनी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ बोथ मोनेटाइजेशन एज वेल, नेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ इंडिया TOT से. सो इफ देयर आर पार्टनर्स दैट वांट टू थिंक अबाउट इवन देयर लॉन्ग टर्म O&M एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, सो वी आर ओपन एंड टू सच अपॉर्चुनिटीज. ऐसी कोई चीज नहीं है.
Got it. So मतलब पहले हमारा वो था कि हम सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग नहीं करेंगे, बट अभी गिवन दैट द मार्जिन्स आर ऑफ आवर लाइकिंग एंड थोड़ा मार्जिन भी अपना कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है, so it may not be margin dilutive to you if the payment terms and margins are accretive, right?
सर क्या हुआ था कि हम जब पहले अगर आप देखेंगे कंपनी का इतिहास में 2012, 13, 14 तक तो हम तो बहुत सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग 80% हमारी ऑर्डर बुक सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग की थी. उसके बाद उस का 13 से और 14 से हम लोग ने खुद की करने की थी, बिकॉज सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स की फाइनेंशियल जो मतलब जो डेवलपर्स थे उनकी फाइनेंशियल हालत जो थी वो खराब हुई थी एंड रियलाइज कि वहाँ पे स्ट्रेच हो रहे थे, पेमेंट हो रहे थे. तो वन ऑफ द की थिंग इवन राइट नाउ कि हम अगर देखें भी सो हमने वाइल इन दिस टाइम इतने सारे ऑर्डर्स आए ये रहे, we were very happy getting all these sorts of orders. In future, if there is some tweak that is needed from our strategy in terms of who we need to work with, we are more than happy to look at that. There is nothing that you can say. And the business, it's a dynamic situation, and you have to adjust yourself according to the external environment.
Okay. Just last thing, sir. So this quarter में हमारा roughly about जो hit आया है, so the cost of completion estimates for the entire order book wherever like there was excesses. So has everything been accounted now, or there could be some potential hit also may accrue in the fourth quarter? So I just want to understand that in FY23 we move really from first quarter to the normal margins of 13-14%. This pain of the commodities at the current levels will continue for like even some part of FY23.
सर देखिए सर, जब तक मेरे सारे प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीट नहीं होते हैं इन सब का जो पेन है वो तो है. अब वो धीरे धीरे जैसे सब निकल के, जैसे देवेंद्र ने आपको बताया, जब ये नॉर्मलाइज होगा वाइल सिचुएशन सबसे ऊपर होती है क्योंकि नए नए प्रोजेक्ट जो अभी जो मिले हैं लास्ट ईयर में इस ईयर में वो स्टार्ट हो रहे हैं. बट जब तक ये निकलना है इनका जो पेन है, उनमें जो एडिशन लगा वो तो कॉस्ट लगा ही है. जब वो खत्म होंगे तब खत्म होकर सारा चीज वो बाहर होगा. हाँ, सो नेक्स्ट ईयर से लाइक ऐसे, और आपने जैसे पहले भी पूछा था, आप बाकी समझ ही गए थे जब भैया ने में पूरा है कि नेक्स्ट ईयर में ये आके पूरी सिचुएशन नॉर्मल होगी.
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू. Good to hear from Devendra sir this time and all the best, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Parikshit ji. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anupam Gupta from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me now better?
It is still not clear, sir.
Hello.
If you can go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so two questions, sir. Firstly, 1050 crore का जो balance equity commitment है over fourth quarter and the next 2 years, उसमें से how much will go from DBL and how much will go from DBL Infra Holdings?
Yeah. So like in DBL Infra Holding, we have an undrawn line of around 300 crores from CPPAB. So that can be utilized to meet the equity commitment from DBL Infra, and balance will be from DBL.
Okay, understand. And second question is, in terms of competition, we have seen competition and there have been some expectations NHAI will ultimately tighten the qualification norms. So are you hearing that, Devendra ji, or is that still not visible beyond March?
आपकी आवाज वापस कट गई थी. आप शायद जहाँ भी जिस भी एरिया में वहाँ नेटवर्क का काफी प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है, तो आपका आवाज कट गया था बीच बीच के.
अभी फिर से बोलूँ अगर अभी तो
वापस बोलिए, पर अभी भी कट ही रहा है, बीच बीच में आवाज जा रहा है, आपका कट रहा है. बट ठीक है, आप बोलिए ना वापस बोलिए.
I'll try once again. So basically there was expectation that the easy pre-qualification norms which has resulted in higher competition will be reversed at some point of time. So are you seeing something happening at NHAI for that, or is it still not visible?
ये ऐसा बार बार बात होती है. सारे बिडर जाके ये प्रपोजल NHAI को देते हैं, सबको बड़े फॉर्म पे बात उठाई है कि कंपटीशन के कारण बहुत प्राइजेस खराब हो रहे हैं, प्रोजेक्ट भी खराब होंगे, लेकिन अभी तक ऐसा कोई रिजल्ट तो कुछ बाहर नहीं आया और ऐसा दिखता भी नहीं है फ्यूचर में कि अभी कुछ कम होने वाला है.
Okay, so from that angle, margins will keep on be under pressure effectively till it happens, whenever it happens. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shravan Shah from Dilip Capital Markets. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Sir, just wanted to know a couple of data points. First is mobilization advance, retention money, and unbilled revenue as on December.
Yeah, so mobilization advance is 1,150 crore, retention money 800 crore, and unbilled revenue is around 800 crore.
Okay. And how much we need to spend on capex in the fourth quarter?
Fourth quarter, it will be nominal what we are making to it. Will not be there. It will be came in the range of 10 to 15 crores only.
Okay. And sir, now we have only 2 HAM appointed dates pending that we are expecting by March, and we will be receiving that.
Yes.
And sir, what will be the gross consolidate?
Just give a second.
Okay. And sir, just wanted a clarification. Anything pending in terms of the CBI inquiry? So anything negative surprise still can come, or everything is now closed?
तो इंडिया उसमें कोई सरप्राइज नहीं आने वाला। देखिए आप, ये सीबीआई का जो मैटर था ये पूरा कंफ्यूजिंग मैटर था। सीबीआई ने गलत एक पब्लिक सर्वेंट को ट्रैक करते करते हमारे लोगों को ट्रैक किया और अल्टीमेटली 7 डेज के अंदर कोर्ट ने सीबीआई को डांटा कि आपने ये गलती की है। सारे लोगों को सीबीआई को रिलीज करना पड़ा। 1 और 2 ट्रायल में पूरा मैटर खत्म हो जाएगा। इवन उसके बाद भी कंटिन्यूअसली हमारे एनएचआई के साथ एग्रीमेंट भी हो रहे हैं, हमारे बिड डल भी रहे हैं और बिड खुल भी रहे हैं। तो नथिंग ऑन द नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट ऑन द बिजनेस। उस समय भी कोई बिजनेस में नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट नहीं आया और फ्यूचर में भी कुछ नहीं आएगा।
Okay, great, sir. Sir,
around 9,000 crore. Consolidated debt is around 9,000 crore.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That was the last question for today. I now hand the conference over to management for closing comments.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming on the call today on a Saturday, and we appreciate all your questions. In case you have any more questions, we and our team look forward to hearing them offline, and let us know. We're more than happy. So our IR team or our internal team would be more than happy to help you out with any details that you might need. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you. On behalf of Axis Capital Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.